Dear Chloe, last week when I made that decluttering video, I mentioned that I procrastinated on editing that video. And just like in my school days, a full week of procrastination wrecked my sleep schedule. I would sleep progressively later and later as the week went on, first around maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, and finally reaching a climax on Friday night when I stayed up until 5 a.m. to finish the video. I did a lot of damage in the span of 1 week, but I was determined to right my wrongs in a game known as Can I Fix My Sleep Schedule in 5 days? My goal was simple: push my bedtime back to 12 a.m. within 5 days. I would start at 2 a.m., which was my average bedtime for the past couple of weeks, and move it back in 30-minute increments until I hit 12 a.m. Now, I've tried and failed in the past to change my bedtime, but I failed because I played without strategy. I would try to change my bedtime through sheer force of will, setting alarms in the morning and at night, and praying to God that I would have the energy to drag my lifeless body in or out of bed at the desired time. But while waiting for my video to render in my bedroom closet at 4 a.m., Joey Schweitzer of Better Ideas appeared like an angel in my recommendations and provided some advice which shaped the following rules. Rule number 1, no phone in bed. I like to watch YouTube or browse Twitter at night to calm the storm of anxiety and regret that plagues my mind as I try to fall asleep. Unfortunately, the light from electronics prevents your brain from releasing melatonin, which makes it harder to sleep. Instead, I have bought a book that I've been very interested in for a while, and I will leave that on the bedside to read. Rule number 2, walk Molly for 30 minutes every day at sunset. Speaking of light, your body sleeps better at night when you get more sunlight in during the day because it helps you reset your internal clock. I'm hoping that being outside at sunset will tell my body, ah yes, it's nighttime. It's time to go to sleep now. Plus, regular exercise helps you sleep better at night too. Rule number 3, no caffeine after 12 p.m. I don't normally drink caffeine to begin with, but this is just an extra measure to make sure I don't accidentally drink a cup of coffee or a cup of black tea at 5 p.m. and then feel jittery when it's time for bed. Finally, some clarifications. Bedtime just means I have to be in bed by the allotted time, and I'm not allowed to do anything except read while I'm in bed. I can't control or predict exactly how long it takes for me to fall asleep, but at least I'm starting to associate my bed with relax, it's time to go to sleep. I also decided I wasn't going to try waking up earlier. I wanted to see how much sleep my body naturally wanted to get every night, and I didn't want to throw that off by setting an arbitrary time and forcing myself to wake up every day. So this week we're only focusing on bedtimes. And with these parameters, we were off. So on day 1, I woke up at around 12:30, having slept at the aforementioned 5 a.m. the night before. I was tired all day, but that actually turned out to be a good thing.
It's like 1:50, but I feel really, really sleepy already, which is a wonderful change of pace. So we're off to a really, really good start.
What? What, babe? I'm vlogging.
On day 2, I woke up at 10:30 in the morning, which was a huge improvement from the week prior. And to celebrate, we made breakfast.
It's pancake time. And it's only 11:30.
I spent some extra time outside, we took Molly on her walk, and at night I was starting to feel sleepy. We were following the rules and everything was going great. Until...
It's 1:45! No!
I'd lost track of time while getting ready for bed, and I missed my bedtime. It was a sad loss, but we continued regardless. Oh my gosh, Molly is just having a good old sleep. On day 3, I had a therapy appointment at 10 a.m., and so I had to get up at 10 a.m., which felt way too early, but I powered through and we decided to go out for groceries. We were out for more than an hour, and I put together an outfit for the first time in weeks. The sunset was beautiful, and I resisted the temptation for a late night milk tea. The extra walking and time outside that day really tuckered me out, and I was really tired by bedtime.
The sheet for my bed covers is not dry, but I am in bed and it is 12:59, so I have technically reached the goal.
We were halfway through the week, and it was working. The next morning, I naturally woke up at 9:40, which is the earliest I'd been out of bed in weeks.
It's 10 a.m. I feel like I could go back to sleep, but I don't necessarily need to. I don't really know what to do with this much morning in the morning.
However, I had many payments left to go on my sleep debt. I felt very tired in the afternoon, and so I took a nap. It was a very risky move, but it didn't seem to have any negative side effects. We were in bed and ready to sleep at the allotted time.
Eat, Pray, Love, as popular as it was in 2010, got a 36% in Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh. It was the final day and the hardest goal. I hadn't been in bed at or before midnight in months. I first woke up at 9 o'clock, but I fell back asleep until 11, which put me at a disadvantage for such an early bedtime. But we persisted. No caffeine, a long walk with Molly, and we put in extra effort for dinner. My guess was that standing up and cooking something new would take up both physical and mental energy. It was down to the wire, the final moments.
Only 1 hour until bedtime.
11:30. And it happened.
It's 11:50 and I'm in bed, which means we did it!
I was in bed at midnight, feeling sleepy, which means that I had completed the quest that I had set myself out on. It is now Thursday afternoon, after the 5th day, and I feel kind of tired. Here's what I learned. Did it work? Yes, kind of. I did notice that there were some marginal improvements because of the rules that I was following. I gradually fell asleep earlier. I felt sleepy much earlier, and I was consistently waking up before 11 a.m. That doesn't really sound like a big improvement. In the past month, I normally wake up after 11 o'clock, sometimes even after 12. I think the biggest difference that I noticed was not using my phone in bed. I didn't really use my phone much at all, even during the daytime. So I would go on social media maybe for about an hour after I woke up, but since I was waking up earlier, I had more time to do things throughout the day, which in turn made me feel more tired at the end of the night, and so I was less inclined to use my phone to try making myself sleepy when I was going to bed. Michael was here most of the week, so we were hanging out together, cooking, going out, walking Molly. We didn't spend as much time being on the couch or looking at our phones as we normally do. It's kind of annoying that there's such a big change from not using that damn phone, but you know, the obvious advice is usually correct. How much sleep do I need? I recorded what time I went to bed and woke up each morning, and let me tell you, the numbers were all over the place. On day 2, I had an appointment in the morning and had to get out of bed after 8 hours and 15 minutes. I felt very tired when I was getting up, so that probably wasn't enough sleep. But on days 4 and 5, I was in bed for almost 11 hours. On those nights, I either had a hard time falling asleep, I didn't sleep particularly well, or I just didn't feel refreshed when I woke up. So that was probably too much sleep. On day 3, I spent about 8 hours and 40 minutes in bed, which, you know, looks closer to normal. But I also took a 3-hour nap that day, which would bring my total sleep time, again, back to 11 hours. The day that I felt best was actually day 1, with about 8 hours and 40 minutes in bed. So I can't really say how much sleep I need after only 1 week of recording, after literal months of bad sleeping patterns. This could be a sign that I have a large sleep debt that I need to pay off, or maybe I just need 9-ish hours in bed every night. More tests will be needed. Future improvements. These are things that I would like to do in the future to expand upon my current results. First, I would like to keep the midnight bedtime. It feels really good to wake up in the morning and actually enjoy the morning. But sustaining that change will require me to continue following the rules. If I stop, I'm just gonna fall back into my old sleep habits again. Like I mentioned before, I enjoy not using my phone in bed and using my phone less often overall, but that will be a very hard habit to break consistently. Second, I noticed that I would get hungry in bed, especially around midnight. This is what kept me up on day 5. I got into bed at midnight, but I was really hungry. I had to get out of bed to finish off a bag of goldfish crackers, and even then I was still kinda hungry. So maybe it would be good to start having a light snack or a light meal at 10 o'clock before bed. Third, I would like to look into the relationship between my mood and my sleep. Emotionally, I've been feeling really healthy the past week or two. The depressive fog that was hanging over me all of January has mostly disappeared. So was my mood better because I was sleeping and eating and exercising better? Or was it easier to sleep at night because my mood was better? Who knows? Overall, I'm really proud of myself and the results. Obviously, it's 1 week of some very easy rules, but I really feel like these are sustainable changes that I could keep building on, and I'm confident in my ability to actually do that. I like falling asleep earlier. I like being awake during the daytime, and I like soaking in all of that sunshine. It makes me feel like there's a lot more time in the day to do things that I actually want to be doing more often, and it makes me feel a lot happier and healthier as a result. So Chloe, if you ever find your sleep schedule messed up in the future, and I guarantee you your sleep schedule will be messed up in the future, then just know that you have the ability to set it back into place. It's not as hard as you think it's going to be, and you know, you could always make another video out of it. Sincerely, Chloe.